Hello, welcome to Pew View with Dr. Stephen Tan. I'm Dr. Stephen Tan. Thank you for joining us today. You know, one of the hardest things about being in lockdown is that I have to preach to an empty sanctuary. It's very difficult to preach when no one is responding to you, no one is laughing at your joke, and you get no visual contact with people who are listening. Aww. So I invited our community to share pictures, and many of you sent pictures. Those pictures are an opportunity for me to be reminded of the people I minister to. And so many of you sent pictures and we put them up in the pew. Now in this first episode, we want to take a look at two subjects. We want to take a look at first at attire. What do people wear when they come to church? You'll find a wide variety. The second thing we want to take a look at is seating. Why do people sit where they do? Does it help or does it hinder? Let's take a look. The reason I asked you to send pictures in is so that when I preach, I'll be able to see your beautiful faces and to help remind me of the people I'm ministering to. And less than 5% of our congregation responded, but thank you for a wonderful sampling. Whenever you sent emails to me and I saw your family picture or an individual picture, my heart was filled with gladness and joy, and it triggered some wonderful memories of our interactions together and you being here. When it comes to church seating, people are creatures of habit. They love to sit in the same section or sometimes in the exact same row. Sometimes it's frustrating because ushers can't move them, but for a pastor it actually helps a lot. If I'm looking for a particular family or a particular individual, whether they've come to church on Sunday, I usually look at the section to see if they're there. So for example, if I'm looking for the Ong family, they're usually sitting in this section at the 11 o'clock service. If not, at the 9 o'clock service, but they're usually sitting in the same section as well. Oh look, it seems like Kristen is here with the family. Usually she's not with the family, she's at the Saturday 6 o'clock service, but Kristen, we're glad that you're with your family this weekend. And over here in this section, if you follow me, I usually know where certain people sit. For example, if I want to see if Uncle Thomas and Auntie Sonia have come to church, they're usually sitting over in this section right here, over towards the edge of the pew. They're always here, so whenever I see them, it brings a joy to my heart because they're always here. The 9 o'clock service is always so faithful. Now, of course, on this section, I look for my good friends, Manches and Cindy. They're usually sitting in this section right here towards the edge as well. For example, in this corner section, if I'm looking for some specific families, I know that they'll usually be here every week. So for example, we have the Ongteco family here, we have the Kambal family here, and then we have the Kwa family who are usually here within this section. And here in this section, we have the Lim family. The Lim family is a regular attendee of our church, usually at the 11 o'clock service, and they like to sit in this row here. Whenever I see them in this row, it warms my heart because they're always so studious. The entire family is taking notes, especially the daughters I can see. But sometimes I see that mom is trying to catch up. She's missed a point, and so she'll have to look at her daughter's notes. Jenny, if you ever need notes, I'm more than happy to email them to you. When people come to church, they come to church in a wide variety of styles, and attire, and design. I personally wear a suit and tie when I come and preach, but the congregation comes in a wide variety of styles. To model them, for example, we have someone who comes wearing a very formal style that is modeled by the D family. And then, of course, we have people coming in a casual but modest look that's modeled by Enoch. And then, of course, we have people who come and they dress very hip, and that's modeled by Pastor Alberto. You know, we always tell people, if you're cold, make sure you bring a jacket. There are a lot of people who get cold easily in air-conditioned sanctuary in the fellowship hall. But Harold and Gracie must really get cold because they've come to church this weekend wearing winter attire. and this is a tropical country. So come as you are, we'd love to welcome you. Here on Pew View, although we've gathered all these people virtually, we still want to conform with the government directive for social distancing. That's why, as you can see, these pictures are all more than a meter apart. Most families have complied, except, of course, the Ongteco family. We love them, but they are not following government directives. This is not social distancing. This is your public service announcement. But we still love you, Ongteco family. Every Sunday in our 4 services, we always have visitors that come from all over the world. Here on Pew View, let's see who came to visit us this virtual weekend. Oh look, it's my brother Sam, coming all the way from Texas. Hi Sam and Kimmy. I miss you, and I miss your 4 beautiful boys, my nephews. And so we're glad that you're here. And as I look, oh look, we have Richard and Kathy who've joined all the way from Alabang. We're glad that you're here, Richard and Kathy. And of course, people come in with a wide variety of modes of transportation. Most come by car, some come by walking, and we have a few like Joji and Bernard who come by camel. You know, sometimes in our church we have famous people who do show up. People who are in the movies and on television, and our sports athletes. We've had them show up in our church every so often. Let's see who's with us virtually this weekend here on Pew View. Oh look, it's someone I don't know. Because as you know, I don't know any Filipina movie stars. But you must be famous, you're here. Anyway, I believe this guy's name is Coco Martin. Or Coco Martinez, I don't know, Coco something. But whatever the case, I believe you are in a famous telenovela called Provinciano. I think that's Province or something. But anyway, I guess production has ceased and that's why you're here at church with us. Coco, we're glad that you're here. Let's move along. Oh look, it's Hyun. Hyun, you know, I talked about you 3 weeks ago, and we're glad that you're here. But you know what? I'm really not envious of you. Don't you think we look alike? I think so. And of course, our last international superstar guest is Steph Curry. Steph, I know the NBA season has been canceled. I'm sorry about that. But we're glad that you can fly all the way from the Philippines and join us for our worship service. I hope you've enjoyed this first episode of Pew View. I've enjoyed being with you virtually. And if you'd like to join our virtual congregation, I'd love for you to send your picture to me at steven.tan@gccp.org.ph if you've not already done so. But in all seriousness, I'd love to get your picture because as I walk through the aisles during the week, I would love to pray for you. And I would like to be reminded of your family, to be reminded that you are a part of our community. And we know that during this quarantine time, it's been difficult for you. And I want to uphold you in prayer, as I hope you will do for me as well. But join us next week for our next episode of Pew View. And until then, if you have not already done so, why don't you go to our church's Facebook page. It's Grace Christian Church PH. And there you can download a worship guide. And in that worship guide, you can gather either as a family or individually. And there is my weekly message for you to take a look at. I hope God's blessing is upon you. And I hope that God will protect you. Take care. God bless you. Hello. Welcome to Pew View with Dr. Stephen Tan. I'm Dr. Stephen Tan. This is episode 2. To help you distinguish between episode 1 and episode 2, I've chosen to wear a different color shirt. This is a red shirt. In this second episode, we want to take a look at 2 things. First of all, we want to see, can a church function with just one person? Or does it really need volunteers? Does it need a team? I'm here by myself. I'm going to try to run a church service with just myself. The second thing we want to take a look at is a mystery room known as the balcony. I rarely go up there. I don't know what happens up there. But why don't we explore together to see what goes on in the balcony? Here during the quarantine, I'm by myself. And here I'm alone at the church. And I wanted to see if one person can run the church, or do we really require a whole team of volunteers? Now, I feel I'm pretty capable, and I think I can do most of the jobs. Let's see how hard it really is. One of the roles of the usher is to open the door. How hard can it be to open the door? Ugh, these 40-year-old doors are so hard to open. Hello, welcome. I said hi. Why didn't they say hi back? Hello, would you mind sitting closer together? We need to have space for our guest. No? You won't move? Okay. I guess we do need our more than 200 members of our hospitality team, ushers, greeters, and shuttle service members, because I don't know how you do it to be able to keep a warm smile on your face dealing with the unique types of people who come to our church. How hard can it be song leading? Let's give it a try. You just lead the people in singing and they'll sing right back. All right, friends, let's sing a song that you all are very familiar with. This little light of mine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. How come no one's singing with me? Why are you staring at me as if I'm just giving a performance? And you, why do you have earphones? And why are you sleeping? You should be participating. It's really tough being a song leader. Sometimes I wonder, you need a choir? Our church has 6 choirs. Do we really need that many? I mean, come on. How hard it can be to sing 4 parts? Put it together. Oh yeah, it is kind of hard. Ladies, thank you for joining the choir. We do need choirs. Ooh, buttons, pretty lights. I wonder what this button does. I wonder what this does. I wonder what all of these things do. Oh. I really don't know what's happening. I think I better stick to preaching. Thank you to our light, sound, PowerPoint, and technical operations team. I don't know what you guys do, but you guys make it look easy. Do they sing that at church? I don't think so. Well, that's the only song I know, so I guess I don't qualify as pianist. But you know, I give up. No wonder our church needs 480 volunteers just to make our church function. I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much. It really isn't a one-person show. We need all of you. You know, whenever I'm preaching, there's a room that is always a mystery to me, and I wonder what happens up there. That's our balcony. And I always wonder, what's happening up there? I see heads, I see people, I see laughter. Since I'm not preaching now, why don't you come with me? Let's take a look to see what happens up in the balcony. Oh, this balcony is where the koala class is. I know what the koala class is for. It's for those parents with 0 to 18-month-old babies. And they can bring their babies up here where they can enjoy the service without having to worry that their babies are going to cry. Now, I know the rules are very strict up here. The only way you can come up here is if you have a newborn. And good thing I have my bear child with me. Now, if you want to come up here just because you're late, you're not allowed to come up here. If you come up here because you want a great view of the sanctuary, you're not allowed up here as well too. This is exclusively for those who are 0 to 18-month-old. Let's take a look. Okay, bear child, enjoy. Well, let's take a look to see what time. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll play with my bear child. Okay, let's interview some of our parents who come up here to see if they enjoy the koala class. You guys enjoy it up here? You do? Your smiling faces tell me you do. We have a wonderful children and youth program here at our church. And whether you have children that are newborn all the way until the 18-year-old, we would love to welcome your entire family to our church. So whether you have a bear child, or a mouse child, or soccer ball as a child, we welcome all of you. Apparently, after some people saw the Kambal from last week's episode, they thought it was okay to bring pets to church. Well, it's only okay if it's a virtual congregation. Like this week, look. The Gay family brought their family dog, Bogart. Bogart is beloved in their family, and you can tell because when mom sent their pictures in, the picture of the family dog is so much bigger than the rest of her own daughters. And then of course here, the Wee family decided to bring their family sheep. I know very few Asian families that have a family sheep. We've had many families emigrate out of the Philippines and settle in all parts of the world. And the wonderful thing about a virtual congregation is that they can be a part of us when they send in their picture. And this week, we had a lot of people send in pictures from countries as far as Australia, Hong Kong, Canada, US. One particular guest is Dr. Eileen and his wife Kathy. They served in our church for many years before immigrating to the US. Dr. Cunha, we wish you were here in the Philippines with us. We really need your services at this time. But the wonderful thing is virtually they brought a very special friend, their neighbor, NFL superstar, quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs, winner of last year's Super Bowl, Pat Mahomes. Through this Pew View project, I've learned about different Filipino personalities. Through your comments on social media, I've learned that her name is Tony Gonzaga. I've also learned that Filipinos love unique names. Apparently, there isn't only one Coco. There's a Coco with a C and a Coco with a K. And of course, I learned about a senator named Enrile. Apparently, he's lived a long time, and I look forward perhaps to meeting him one day. He's a social media hit these days, and perhaps I'll get an opportunity to sit with him and ask him how it was to walk with the dinosaurs. That being said, all joking aside, I think it's important for us to remember that we should be praying for our government officials. They are in a place right now that is very difficult and trying. And the Bible reminds us that we should bathe them in prayer, that God would give them wisdom as they lead this country through this crisis. I'd like to thank you for watching the second episode of Pew View. If you haven't already done so, you can continue to send your pictures to me to be part of this virtual congregation. You can send your pictures individually or as a family to stephen.tan@gccp.org.ph. More than being part of our virtual congregation, what I'd love to do is to receive your picture so that as I walk through the sanctuary throughout the week, I can be remembering your family, I can be remembering you, and I can uphold you in prayer as we continue to pray for one another during this difficult time. I hope your family is well. I continue to pray for God's blessing upon each and every one of you. Take care. God bless. Hello! Welcome to Pew View with Dr. Stephen Tan. I'm Dr. Stephen Tan. Welcome to our third and unfortunately final episode of Pew View. The reason it's our final episode is because we spent too much money on making a nice background and we now no longer have enough budget for any more episodes. In this episode, we want to take a look at two things. The first thing we want to take a look at is what happens when you come late. You know, we always encourage you to try to come on time or early. And we know that there are circumstances that happen in your life that prevent you from coming early. However, that being said, we want to show you what happens when you come late. The second thing we want to talk about is what do people leave behind at church? I know that sometimes we forget to take things home, but here are the things that are left behind in the church. Perhaps some of these things belong to you. Enjoy the episode. You know, in our culture, we have a tendency to be late. Wedding receptions here in Manila start at least 2 hours after the wedding time that's stated in the invitation. Now, sometimes this culture of lateness works its way into coming to a worship service, and quite a number of you are often late. Now, for some of you, it's not a big deal, and I know that you may have valid reasons for coming late to church, but coming late to church poses some issues. Let's take a look at what they are. What did I miss? Oh, wow, you missed an amazing time of singing, and the choir sang an amazing song which really blessed my heart. It's too bad you missed it. Another reason why we want you to come early and on time is because it honors the Lord. When you make the worship of God as a priority and make the effort to come early and on time, it shows that you have placed as a priority the worship of the Almighty God. Imagine if you had an appointment with the Queen or an appointment with the President. Would you dare be late? All of you would make that special effort to come early. How much more the worship of our Almighty God? Another reason why we encourage you to come early and on time is so that you can hear the sermon in its entirety. You see, if you come late and you walk in the middle of the message, you won't understand or have a context or the background of what in the world I'm talking about.
Stealth mode.
Of course, that's an over-exaggeration, but the reason we want you to come early is because sometimes when you come late, it is a distraction to the congregation. You know, there's a lot of things people leave behind here at the church. Perhaps it's a sense of security that we get absent-minded and feel like this is a safe place. It really is. However, we need to understand that if you leave something behind, sometimes you won't get it back. This is our lost and found box. Oh, someone's not reading their Bible. They left their Bible here. Another person's not reading their Bible because they left their Bible here. And another Bible. Wow, that's a lot of Bibles. A tape measure. Who in the world brings a tape measure to church? Wow, lots of water bottles. So there you go. If you ever leave anything, here's a lost and found. Come and pick it up. Here's our guitar that has been abandoned by its owner. It feels so lonely, so rejected, so abandoned. Yes, it's okay, my friend. You are with us. You're mine now. Our special guests this week on Pew View are our medical professionals, doctors, nurses, and other specialists. Our church is blessed to have many medical professionals be a part of our wonderful community. And our heart goes out to them, especially in times like this. We should be praying for them, especially as they are taking care of our countrymen. Well, unfortunately, this comes to the end of our Pew View episode and our series. Thank you for watching. You know, we wanted to show you the diverse and unique community that we call church here at Grace Christian Church. We hope that if you're a visitor, you'll take the opportunity to come and visit us. You would be welcome. And I can't wait for that time when we can worship together as a church family. I'm excited for that day. Until then, I'm going to still be praying for you, and I hope you'll lift up our church community and the people around the world in prayer. We need in these times to really reflect upon what's on our heart and remember to keep our focus upon Jesus Christ. So enjoy, God bless you, and may God continue to protect you until we meet again. Take care.